Welcome back. In this video I'm going to unbox and review the Lemfo E07S, which is a great little smartwatch which I bought from Gearbest for about $15. If you enjoy this video, be sure to check out my other smartwatch reviews. I'll leave a link down in the description box below to a smartwatch playlist that I've created. Also subscribe if you want to get access to my latest videos. At 20,000 subscribers I'm going to give away an iPad mini, so be sure to click subscribe. So I'm probably going to look at more Lemfo watches in the future, but I saw this one, saw that it was only about $15 and thought, well, I've got to take a look at this. I think there are a few cool features on this watch that you're really going to like, some things I haven't even seen on some of the higher end ones. Right, so in the box we've got the watch, we've got this, which we'll take a closer look at in a second, and we've got this little tiny manual here. This is compatible with Android and iPhones, which is always good. I think no excuse really for smartwatches now not to be compatible with both platforms. So what is this? Well, this is actually the charging adapter, really unlike anything I've seen on any of the other smartwatches. And basically, I mean, it works in a very similar way. It sort of clips to the back of the watch like that. You've got to make sure that the pins are connected properly, and then this is the USB bit. In terms of feel, this kind of watch does feel very cheap. It's got a cheap rubbery strap and it's very light, but that's not always a bad thing, because this is sort of marketed as a sort of sports watch because of some of the features that I'm going to show you on it, so not all that bad that it's light and feels cheap. This is a touchscreen watch, but it hasn't got a huge amount of touchscreen functionality. Basically there's one small point on the screen. I wonder if I can zoom in so you can see it. Can you see that little thumbprint logo there? That is the only bit on the watch that is actually touchscreen, and you use that to navigate all of the screens, and I'll show you how. So this is the home screen, and it's flickering a little bit just because of my lighting and the camera, but it doesn't flicker in real life. It's quite a bright, vibrant LED screen with the date, the day of the week, a battery indicator, the time, and whether or not it's AM or PM. This will also show you a Bluetooth icon when it's paired with a device, and also some other icons when you're, for example, using the swimming feature. This is IP67 waterproof, and what that means is, yeah, you can get this a little bit wet, but I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, to be honest, it's cheap enough that you could risk going swimming in it. I think it probably would survive. As long as you don't stick it in boiling water, I think you'll be all right. So let's press the touchscreen button at the bottom here. Obviously, if you press it and the watch is off, it brings up the home screen. If you press it again, it brings up this little animation of moving feet, and this is basically a display of how many steps you've walked. So yes, this watch has a pedometer in it, and if you press it again, it brings up a little cycling icon, so you can use this to track your cycling. So if you do a long tap when this cycling icon is on here, it basically activates the cycling mode. So now if you've got it paired with your phone, it will track how far you've gone and give you an estimate of how many calories you've burned. So that's a pretty cool feature. And now you can see that it's enabled a little cycling icon on the home screen, so you know which mode is active. So if we do a long hold on the home screen, it brings up this menu interface which you can move through with single taps like that. So the first feature on the list here is a little moon icon. If we press on that, so now we've got a sleep mode which we can enable by just like that. So it's kind of one click to change selection and 2 clicks to actually confirm. So now you can see it's got a little moon icon on the home there. We've also got a swimming mode. We've also got a music icon, a camera icon, a find my phone icon, and this icon which looks like a sort of wristband with some wiggles around it. This is basically whether or not this watch is on vibrate mode or not. So let's have a look at some of the features that require it to be paired with a phone. I've paired it with my iPhone. You can see a little Bluetooth icon there in the top right hand corner, and I'm now syncing the data from this smartwatch onto my phone. So here I can play, pause or skip track from the music playing through my iPhone. Here I've got the camera opened on my phone. If I do a single click on the watch, you should see the screen behind flash. So basically you're using this watch as a remote camera trigger, which is a pretty good feature as well. Okay, I think it's time to take a quick look at the iPhone app that works with this watch. So you basically need the same app if you're using an Android phone or an iPhone, and it's called Smart Wristband, and it's freely available, although it says just Smart Wrists here, but it is Smart Wristband. And this app basically allows you to keep track of all the sports information, that you've generated using the watch. So this is the home screen, and it shows you a pedometer count. You can see I haven't worn it today. Also the number of calories burned and the distance you've walked. But if we click on the trends button on the bottom there, and now we're on the month view, you can see that towards the end of 2016 I did wear this watch, and I did 741 steps, which equated to 15 calories and 1/3 of a kilometre, and also it would have tracked my cycling and swimming. So on the 31st of December I wore this, and it gives you an hourly breakdown of the amount of walking that you've done. You also get the same thing for sleep, so it uses the pedometer in the watch basically to work out whether or not you're moving much during the time that the sleep mode is activated, as well as just tracking arm movement to get, the number of steps you've done. You can also use this in a running or cycling mode. It uses the GPS on your phone to keep a track of where you've run or where you've cycled, and then uses that to also generate a speed, the number of calories burned and all that, which I think is actually really cool. So if I click the history thing, now I didn't actually cycle with this because I don't cycle very often, but I did record a journey in my car. So it's got me going at, I don't know what that is, 1 minute 28 a kilometre. I guess that's probably about the average speed I was doing in my car along the dual carriageway. It's pretty cool if you've got a car. It's probably even cooler if you're actually a cyclist or you go on a walk and you want to know where you've been. First time I've ever seen that feature on anything other than, for example, the Apple Watch. So that's pretty good. There's also an indoor activity section where I guess they've tuned the pedometer in the watch to recognise certain types of activity. So obviously if you're using a skipping rope or jumping rope as they called it here, you can use this, and obviously it stores that, so you can obviously get a history. And I did no sit-ups on the 31st of January, so I'm doing well this year. And then in the settings, you've also got you can change your goals. So basically it scales the amount of information it shows you according to the goals that you've set yourself. Anti-lost, so if the phone moves out of Bluetooth range from the watch, you'll get a notification on the phone. There's some additional things as well, like a sedentary reminder, so that, to remind you to sort of get up and walk around. Firmware update, there aren't actually any firmware updates at the moment, but it's good that we got that feature. So it's a pretty simple, straightforward app to use. It's actually quite powerful, especially that GPS feature. So in conclusion, is this watch any good? Right, well the battery life is pretty good, the screen is alright, it's simple to use, it's not packed full with functions, but it's quite good if you're somebody who goes running or goes walking and wants to keep track of how much you've done, and in the case of the GPS on the app, actually where you've done your walk or your cycle ride or whatever. So it's pretty good for all of that for only about $15. So I do recommend this Lemfo watch, and I will definitely be taking a look at the other watches in their range. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time for another unboxing and review.